All right, guys, welcome back to Take One, and today we're doing a review of Jinro. Today we have four guests. We have director and writer Michael Wright, director and writer Christian Fink,
Happy to be here.
and writer and producer Nick Charts.
Thanks for having me.
So this one we're gonna do a little bit different. We're reviewing an old school anime called Jinro Wolf Brigade, and it is a very unique movie. Like I really enjoyed this one.
Dude, don't call it old school. It's from '99.
And today it is considered old school.
You're gonna make people feel old.
Yeah.
That was
man,
26
listen,
years
if
ago.
it's hand drawn, it's old school at this point.
The '80s was 40 years ago.
So, did you guys watch it in sub or dub?
We did.
I've seen it a few times actually.
A few times.
I saw the dub.
I've seen it in sub.
Oh, that's good. We could have a unique kind of feel on it because I feel like sometimes when with dubs and subs, there might be certain things that don't translate properly.
Oh yeah.
So some things might come differently. So we don't know.
You were the only one that's seen both. So which one would you?
what would you
tell the audience to view?
I mean, just watch the movie. If you like some phenomenal animation, it really doesn't matter between dubs or subs. I mean,
But in this particular case,
I mean, okay, if you're not super into anime, and you just want to watch a cool ass movie, go watch it dubbed. It's easier to get into. You'll be more engaged.
If you hate reading,
This is a film that demands your attention. This is it.
Yes.
100%.
There is some phenomenal animation. There's some kick-ass action. The opening is. There's few films that reach how awesome the opening.
what I really loved was just the sound, like the sound
yes.
of the guns,
Absolutely.
like how heavy those things sound.
Yeah. You really
I
feel
love
it.
good sound design.
Yeah. It was one of those movies where everything just synergized so well and it did exactly what it set out to do. It was really good.
Well, let me ask you guys this: how much do you guys know about the lore, the history of the Kerberos Panzer Unit?
Literally
world?
nothing.
So I know this is supposed to be like an alternate history thing where
Yes.
Japan loses to the Nazi Germany.
Yeah. Okay. So, spoiler alert. We won World War II, just in case anyone missed that. So in this world, there's, and I'll get into this later. Some of my opinions and thoughts. It can get a little weird, but in the world of Kerberos Panzerkopf, the world of Jinro, it's a alternate reality where Japan actually joined the Allies, and then still lost. The Nazis occupy Japan. And then they weirdly turned away from the Nazi regime back to the Weimar Republic. So, glory to the Weimar Republic. And at this point, it's 60s, I think, 50s.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
the story said, if I remember correctly. Jinro is a prequel. It's the third film, but it's a prequel film. And I guess they did make one other live action film, but the first 20 minutes are great, and then the rest of the movie's shit. Doesn't matter. We're not talking about that one. It's between, the opening really opens up between. This is a very political story.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of political theater, it's intrigue, fascinating, and then there's a lot of just bullshit of the Brothers Grimm, Little Red Riding Hood.
Which I do feel like that this movie is creating that. When you
yeah.
watch, there's a lot of things about this world that you don't know that they probably
Right.
might have already expanded
Yeah.
on and stuff because there's so many names of agencies and groups that are only just brushed on.
Oh, it doesn't explain itself
Yeah.
at all. It's you stepped into its world. It's not welcoming you.
Yeah.
And thank you for that information because this is just this is the first time I ever saw this movie. So it's but it really established the way it went about its world building. You do get that sense of there is a history and a lore leading
but
up.
at the same time,
people firebombing cops. It's awesome.
Yeah.
but at the same time, I think it does a good enough job that you don't need to know the other stuff.
It's like
This
Star
is-
Wars.
Yeah, it's a
It's
perfect standalone.
Original Star Wars. It's just here's the world. It's gritty. It's grimy. It's dark. You have mechanized infantry units carrying MG42s and just rip it tickets of 8mm Mausers. They just gun down civilians.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! And they got the glowing red eyes. It looks so cool.
Yeah, and I feel like the main themes of this is mainly for this particular movie. It's essentially challenging the dichotomy of good and evil, and even the story of a man just losing his humanity.
Yeah.
And wondering what that pinpoint of where he lost his humanity completely.
So because I got sidetracked, bad ADD brain. But so the idea of the world of Kerberos Panzerkopf and shit. The first film came out in '91, if I remember correctly. And if you guys ever watch it, I want to see it. Michael, we'll watch it one of these days. Actually, let's all watch it one of these days.
Yeah.
This first film, in comparison to Jinro is very serious and very gritty. The 91 Stray Dog film is borderline a fucking comedy.
Really?
Yes. Okay. So it's low budget, but I don't think it's supposed to be comedic. But because of the sound design, because of how probably the limited budget, the acting, just some of the
becomes comedic.
the decisions they made, it's so.
Is it
funny.
intentionally or unintentionally?
I have
unintentionally.
I think it has to be unintentional.
From what
But
I saw,
one thing I respect about it is the only film I've seen where they actually swap out an MG42 barrel mid gunfight, and so I like that. I respect it a lot. I love those little attention to details.
Yeah.
from what I saw, it kind of looks a little bit like Power Rangers. So
Straight, yeah, it is Power
What,
Rangers.
it wasn't.
Same with the cop.
It wasn't intentional. It's like, what about if we made Power Rangers but cool? But the problem. Well, Power Rangers cool. What do you made it? But
Yeah, what do you mean Power Rangers not
Oh,
but
sorry.
cool? Power Rangers is always cool.
Honestly, like low-key for me, I remember, did you ever play the game Killzone growing up?
Yes.
Yeah, because
It reminded me of that.
So
armor.
Kerberos Panther Cop had a lot of influence in video, like Western media.
yeah,
so
yeah.
The
Killzone,
modern Wolfenstein. too.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
The glowing red eyes, and
Yeah.
that's the questions of fascism and authoritarianism just being kind of a philosophy of drip. I mean, look at. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Because between fascist Italy and Mussolini had drip, even though he ate garlic and just like, spaghetti, and then Germany had Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
Russia and the Soviet Union, who knows what they had, but God, they look fucking badass.
But even like the mask, I
Right.
like it
'Cause
because
it-
it's
'cause
like
it's all
almost
about
like a
aesthetics.
detachment
The
of their
Panzer
humanity.
units
Exactly,
look
yeah.
sick as hell. Even though these are like all the films, all the films, the manga, and the anime, they're not. It's not questions of rebellion. It's not questions of or stories of rebellion. It's not stories of political change. These are stories of. These films are propaganda. These are propaganda media, and this is what if the boot had feelings.
And like and this is the main thing that you and me disagree on is like I agree with you that it's propaganda to everything until the very end, and I love the ending. And you don't like it, but I like it because it turns the film into a critique of propaganda. It's like, hey, these guys are monsters. They chose. They chose
You're gonna
not
tell
to be
me.
good.
You're gonna tell me the guy who guns down civilians with an 8mm with
That's a-
MG42 is the wolf. Surprise! Like, oh my god, the wolf had feelings.
But like,
like soy jack face.
I think that's the thing is like, I mean, obviously a lot of media was like, people miss the point, or like, Full Metal Jacket, they want to join the fucking military afterwards. There's going to be a huge amount of people that like think that like, I don't know, fascism or authoritarianism is cool at the end of this, but you obviously miss the point because it's clearly a critique of it, and it's clearly like, I think it's a critique of propaganda in general.
Yeah.
Maybe. So before I can go on a 15-minute tangent. So let's ask.
So the main thing I know, it's like
I'll get your guys'
between
opinion
Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. I feel like that theme. I would say honestly, it's very heavy-handed
Hammered.
on
It
this.
is,
So-
very much so.
I-
They literally meet at the museum in front of the wolf exhibit.
Yeah, it's like, oh my
least
god.
favorite thing. They just hammer that shit.
Yeah.
I love and hate this film. I love the animation. I love the style. The director. I mean,
Yeah, he's
how much
worked on
anime
it.
have you guys watched? Like,
I have not. I'm
Not
not
too
really a
much.
big anime person.
Gio,
For, what was your question?
how much anime have you watched? You, like,
A good amount.
so the director on this, he was like one
Legend.
of the lead animators on Akira. Cowboy Bebop, the movie.
Really?
Ghost in the Shell too?
No, the writer. He
Gotcha.
wrote Ghost in the Shell.
Gotcha.
He also director though. He animated Black Magic M66. It's an old '80s OVA. Listen, you got 40 minutes. Go watch Black Magic M66. It's on YouTube. I wish they made something with it. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's like
Yeah.
Predator meets Terminator. I highly recommend it.
Oh, that
It's-
sounds cool.
It's stupid. It's silly, but I love that old classic. And then the cell animation. I love cell animation.
Yes, yes. The
But-
animation it hits.
People who worked on this film and the guy who wrote Kerberos Panzer Cop. These are legends of animation. Like
Yeah.
these guys are. Blade Runner Blackout.
Yeah.
He worked on that too.
Gotcha.
If you haven't seen that, watch Blade Runner Blackout. Oh my god, one of the best sci-fi.
So he's
stories
been
of all
doing
time.
it for a while because that was recently,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's still doing it, and I guess he really other than General and the Wolf Brigade, this is the only film he really directed. He's only ever done animation work. So,
Mhm.
God, why do I want to say he did Kill la Kill? Because I know he did not do that.
Like, I feel like another thing about this world
dude's
is
a
it's
legend.
like very like everything's very like gray and everyone's like morally gray. Like I feel like that's the thing that he was challenging with the Wolf and Red Riding Hood. It was also a critique of that movie. Meaning there's not many people that are just inherently good. And
yeah,
bad.
Yeah, there's no
I feel like
winners.
the role of Red Riding Hood and the Bad Boy Wolf gets interchanged a lot.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
and I will say, maybe perhaps in defense, I'm just speculating here, but because it's a very obviously Western thing from German with the Grimm's Tale or whatever. Maybe just Red Riding Hood wasn't like as popular in Japan, so maybe that's why he had to hammer it home. Maybe it's like
Yeah.
us as Westerners, like we've heard this so many fucking times, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
that
here's
is
the thing.
super popular over there.
Because the original writer, he wrote the script for this film. He wrote the story. I gotta look up. I'll look up the director's name, but so every Kerberos Panzer Cop story has been written by the same guy since the 90s for sure. I mean,
Okay.
actually the 80s, I think, late
Yeah.
80s. I can't speak for the most modern one, but at least the main four: the 2 movies, the anime, and the manga, all by the same guy. And I think there's a lot of questions of that, and a lot of elements that we're missing as Americans here. You got to think, being Japanese from post World War II, especially
Yeah.
being raised in American occupied Japan, losing one of the major wars. Having the sun dropped on you twice. Yeah, think about that. That's gonna do some. Like, look at Miyazaki, the guy's like, anime is trash. Fuck this shit. But you gotta think. So instead of it being the American occupation, it's German occupation, and then weirdly the Weimar Republic. What does that do to an individual? Like, growing up with that, and then you got to think of the sort of the culture of Japanese.
Well, I feel like that's
society.
the reason why Miyazaki does a lot of movies that are very anti-war.
Oh yeah,
it's
clearly.
because
Yeah.
it's specifically through the
Miyazaki hates jeans.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. He actually fucking does.
for this movie, like
I feel like a hamburger would kill that man.
we know. When do you feel like Fuse lost his humanity? Because there is the
Like, the
semblance
very
of
beginning?
Yeah.
but like
Yeah, because there was that
it's
hesitation.
constant
had it to begin with.
flashbacks
'Cause-
of that girl.
I-
That blew herself up.
Oh my god, a little girl killed herself in front of me, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
Shocker.
I feel like, I think kind of the point of the story is like, it doesn't really matter. Like when he lost his humanity, I think he lost his humanity before the movie even started.
Oh yeah, he
I
never had
think-
any to begin with.
I-
But
I-
that's the question of Japanese society, post World
Yeah,
War
I-
II, being an occupied nation.
I feel like the film was essentially like, hey, we're building something up to this, and then that at the very end, bam, that was all essentially like, I don't want to say it was for nothing, but like it's kind of like there was no point in it. Like he never had that shit to begin with. I feel like that's kind of maybe one of my critiques of the movie is like it feels like part of it just for nothing.
Well, here's the thing. Imagine
Which
getting,
I kind of like though.
imagine getting honey. Like you're part of an anti-terror group. You watch a kid blow herself up in front of you. You probably have some traumatic brain injury too, and then you get fucking gaslighted by a government honeypot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like,
yeah.
oh, I'm fucking her sister. I don't think they do, but I'm banging her sister. That's kind of weird, but I'm all here for it. And then it turns out, oh wait, she's not her sister. This is another like this is the Little Red Riding Hood. She's the wolf. And like it goes back to how heavy handed. It's like just bashing your head in the fucking book. I hated that part.
And I also
And by
appreciate,
then it's like, oh, surprise, surprise. He's the wolf. You're the man with the machine gun's
yeah.
the wolf.
And I
by the
appreciate
way.
that like there is no good character in any of this film.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
it be
there is
known.
no winner.
I would say
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I feel it's just people just fighting for different interests.
Oh, yeah,
all
and
it
it's-
is.
That's all it
And
is.
it's all the
It's
sacrificial.
between you got the nationalist rebels who are fighting the cops. You have the police. You have the military police, which are just some paramilitary group. You have the government itself, and then you have the Wolf Brigade, which I believe that's what Jinro's part of. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's how dare a man have empathy? We can't have that. Gaslight him,
Right.
and then we'll make him into an actual monster.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
war. It's war, and that's what the thing that I feel like is the main theme is sacrificing your humanity for the greater good of your whatever political agenda you
Yeah.
have, right? Do you feel like there was a point where like because with the relationship between him and I forgot the name of the girl.
we can call her Red.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I'll
feel
look this
do you feel like there could have been a point that he could have reverted?
No, because
Yeah.
she was a honeypot.
Yeah.
Her whole point. I mean, sure, maybe she actually did fall in love with him. Maybe Hughes fell in love with her. But here's the problem. I mean, like any relationship, you always need to have a solid foundation. You have an unstable man with PTSD. You have an unstable girl who's a government honeypot. This ain't gonna work. Trust me.
That's fair, yeah.
Men, don't date her. Trust me, she's an ATF agent.
I think
She's after your guns.
I think there was like maybe like a window of opportunity, but it was shut for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Her name was Kai. I think.
I mean, perhaps it was shut for him, but at the same time, I feel like he's fine with it being shut in a way.
I mean, it broke him up clearly, but
Yeah, because I think about like the ending and like when he was told like okay, like she understands that like she's got to die and like he still hesitated. I think there's still some part of him in there.
yeah.
It's like, hey, like,
And they even made it look like because there was a guy waiting by the gun,
Yeah.
Which I
all the way
liked.
in the back.
I liked because it's like we can't even necessarily trust that he will do the right thing. So just
Yeah.
in case,
exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think
the right thing.
yeah. Oh, I think there should have been like an additional 15 seconds, like 8 months later, where it's still clearly bugging him. Like this whole thing where he has been a pawn
Yeah.
throughout the entire story, and it's still fucking with him.
I
It's not even like the idea that rebellion can happen. That will, the Weimar Republic will be overthrown from Japan, and you can have a nationalist Japan. It's just like as on an individual level. Like, I mean, that fucks with you.
Yeah.
Go through any. I challenge you. Go through any like a fraction of what that man has. I don't think. Hopefully, none of us have.
Well, a lot of
Actually,
people
funny
have
story.
to go
I have
through
been.
that
I
now.
have been honeypotted by the ATF once.
Well, a lot of people go through that now. There's a lot of authoritarian regimes
Oh, yeah.
all around the world. So, like, I feel like that will speak true to a certain amount of people.
I feel like I would do the opposite where they like 15 seconds, but like he isn't conflicted. He's fully into the bit now because I feel like that's kind of more the thing is like
Catch this can, Michael. I swear.
no, because like I think that's the thing is like some people just
Yeah.
cannot change once they've reached a certain point. I think it's sort of the rejection of the idea that everyone can be changed from their ideas if you have enough humanity.
You know,
some people choose to reject their humanity.
I agree.
yeah.
Have you ever held an MG42? Let me tell you, that changes a man. That changes it. I'd listen. Yeah, I'd sell out. I'd sell out for
'Cause
that.
I feel the constant flashbacks are him, like that 1% of him still thinking that
Yeah.
he can revert back to.
Yeah, and I really loved how the film like ebbed and flowed with that too, because I don't know, at least for me, it gave me hope that like can people change? I think they can, but it's also I think the circumstances surrounding it. You know what I mean? Like if he had like a clear out, you know what I mean? I think he would have taken that out.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that like no matter where he turned, it's just like you said, he's a pawn in just this giant game, kind of like Mongo and Blazing Saddles.
I feel like especially the design does really well of the costume because like it very much like separates him
Yeah,
from the rest of the people because
Yeah.
it makes him look a lot bigger.
but he's also practically invincible. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole shootout in the tunnels at the end, like they're
Yeah.
shooting at him,
Like
and he's
essentially a
just, like,
Terminator.
indestructible. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I loved about the film is like I won't say it's subtle about it that it's under German occupation, but you look at the guns they're using.
Yeah.
MG42, Stormgewehrs, Panzerschreck, anti-tank rifles, MP40s.
Even the helmets for
Yeah.
the
Oh
the
yeah,
armor,
they got the fucking M38 helmets.
The Beatles, Volkswagens,
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
that's
I
right,
thought
that's
the band
right,
for a
yeah.
second.
Ringo Starr.
or what would be a German version of Ringo Starr.
The
Ja,
action
it's
scenes were
Ringo
really
Starr.
Yeah.
Stamm.
Another thing with that is, and I think I was talking with Nick. See, now when I first saw it, I thought maybe this was sort of a way of him subtly, perhaps critiquing Japan's actions in World War II. You know, basically saying because like,
Oh, yeah, I was bringing this up.
and I don't know if you guys know, but like that's just like heavily censored there. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, so I don't think you would be able to get away with like, hey guys, this is just Japan if we didn't get nuked. And look, we're even more authoritarian. I don't think you would have been able to get away with that. So I feel like perhaps this was a way of critiquing. But at the same time, I don't know.
I was
exactly.
wondering if
I
there was
don't-
an element of revisionism with
Yeah,
like probably the
it
original
could-
story because
it
hey,
could be
what
the
if,
opposite way.
like, hey, we joined the Allies. We're the good guys this
Yeah.
time, but we still lost. Now the Germans are really the bad guys.
Yeah.
I
There's
don't,
one of two ways. Is either it's a critique, a subtle critique of Imperial Japan, or he's trying to downplay Imperial Japan. It's like,
It's not our
Germany-
fault.
I had the same
It's Germany.
thought.
Germany's the bad guy. They gave us the Panzer kit. They gave us the Nazi uniforms. Trust me,
we
guys.
never would have done this.
Yeah.
What is Unit 491
Yeah,
or
we-
941?
Yeah.
What's that?
Built-in
that's the thing,
plausible
I feel like-
deniability.
I feel like the aspect of it of not only them like being on the ally side and losing, I felt like that too because when I was watching that, my thought too was like, is this them trying to either downplay Imperial Japan and what they've done?
This is
in
the alternate
respect-
universe
yeah.
where Hitler wasn't addicted to crack.
Yeah.
Hitler got the bomb made and nuked Japan.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like it is. It also talks about like like authoritarianism and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's,
Even though
It's
in
an
the
Eastern
aspects
lens
you
of
don't see
Western
much about
authoritarianism.
what
Yeah.
protesters are standing
Yeah.
for.
I
Right.
would definitely prefer perhaps if it would have been more on the political stuff, less on the personal. That's a personal thing of mine. I understand why they didn't, and I think it's fine. I think maybe just because like I don't want to say that like I've seen the story play out before, but the story I don't, and then, like I mentioned to Nick, is like aside from like perhaps some of the more gory things, I think this is almost like a young adult film. Like it's very like
Oh yeah.
it's simple to digest and like it's I guess I've just seen it play out in like a lot of other
Oh,
young
yeah.
adult ones.
Here's what I'll say.
Well, I mean, it's a timeless subject matter. You know what I
It's
mean?
a 2-hour film that should not have 2 hours, a 2-hour run line.
It is
Somehow
very
it makes it work. It makes it work, but there is not a whole lot to the
Yeah,
story.
I was feeling the runtime.
That's what I was
on this
saying.
one.
Yeah, I was saying the pacing is
It
definitely one of those
demands your
things that-
attention.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it drags it out.
Yeah,
And I won't say it's a bad thing because animation's gorgeous.
The music
I
even.
can't
There was
even
some subtle
imagine-
tracks that I really liked.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
going between you guys working on film and being an director of animation, I can't imagine like the difference, like how much
Yeah.
more pre-planning and just
And especially
very
too because the writer and
tight.
the director are different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the writer has already done the manga. He's like, hey, I want it this way, and the director also has to have some input into it. And I think there's another thing that we disagree. I feel like, and again, I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I feel like there's a decent amount of disagreement between the writer and director because it felt like there's some points and it were like,
well, okay, so I know the writer, he wanted to direct the film originally. He was convinced to step down and let. Fuck, I'm gonna look this guy's name up because it's fucking me. I don't want to disrespect the man. Hiroyuko or here. Fuck me, I'm gonna butcher this man's name. Hiroyuki Okiura. I think that's it. So he.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
He was brought on to be the director and the director and writer. No, just director. The original writer wanted to be both writer and director.
Gotcha.
Now imagine the story would have been different, and being the director, you're gonna take the original script, you're gonna change some stuff up.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine like you have how much less freedom you have. Because you can't redo scenes really. It's 5 years of animation, cell animation. Like also, let's take note. This is like the only anime I've ever seen where people look human.
Yeah.
They don't have bug eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The animation was very good.
Oni-chan! Like all that shit. Like you got fuckers just sound like deep ass fucking voice and all that shit. I mean, not really, but
I like
clearly.
even the colors on it because like the colors are very like dullish in a sense, but it
Yeah.
almost makes it like reflect on the authoritarian.
yeah.
It makes it very intentional for the
Yeah.
use of red and everything too.
Right.
Yeah. I just I remember the sequence where I think he was like meeting her at the park and then it just like flashes a few frames and then we go into like this flashback sequence and he's like chasing her through the dark and everything. I just love that sequence in particular.
Like, what do you guys think it was like its best strengths, and what do you guys think like are the things that like held it back?
Animation, action, coloring, everything on a technical level. This film is unbelievably good.
Oh yeah.
The thing that holds it back, the fact that like it just bashed your head in with Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
The runtime. This film should have been cut down at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay. This is a film I love and I hate. This is a film you can really chew on. You can think
yeah.
about this. You can ask questions, look at the wider context and history and subtlety, all that. I didn't care about anyone. I didn't give a shit about the girl or Kai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's my
I
problem.
feel so too. But that's also because a lot of the institutions. I mean, if you're just watching this movie, you're kind of not sure who's standing with what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there is no good guy, and I like that.
Oh yeah, I will say my ending when I first saw this film the first time, I had the same reaction to No Country for Old Men. Anton Chigurh gets in the crash, spoiler alert, and I'm like, what? That's it? That's the ending? So I was like, where the fuck? You're not gonna end it right there?
Don't come for my baby, man.
No. I mean, I think No Country for Old Men is brilliant. Now I get the subtleties and the messaging. The ending works. This one, I still have that reaction. I'm like patchy. Like, what? That's it? That's the lost episode? It's just a bunch of cheap walk
I
cycles.
feel like those two movies do have a lot in common.
They do. They really
Yeah.
do. Although I gotta say, like when she started like reciting like the story in his arms when she's
Listen,
about
yeah,
to be
shoot her.
shot, I'm like,
Yeah.
we get it.
Yeah.
Ladies, do not do that to your man.
The one thing I like was like, and I know it was definitely done intentionally, but like even that moment, like it's going to happen beforehand because like as he's talking about the teeth, he actually grins his teeth like a wolf would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I like that sort of part, but I would have definitely agreed that it's very heavy, which I think it's honestly a big critique on anime. On a lot of people, they're very heavy-handed,
Which is subtlety.
Which again, I mean, I'm trying to build in some excuses from him here. Maybe Red Riding Hood just is not that widely taught over in Japan, so they kind of have to. I hope so.
I think that's just an anime issue because like
Well, I mean,
even rewatching certain anime, like something will happen and there'll be an explanation for it about 4 times.
Yeah,
in that one
certainly,
episode.
certainly modern.
Yeah, all the flashbacks.
Yeah.
I guess it's always that like battle as a storyteller. It's like because especially with this where you're talking about like a very specific subject matter, it's like, do we take the chance to be more nuanced and hope people get it,
Yeah.
or do we take the chance to be a bit more forward about it so that way we at least know they're engaging with what we want them to engage.
Which is why I think it's good for like young adults because they are very forward with it. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Does Japan just have early like brain rot before we did?
I feel like
they have all the flashing lights and shit.
I feel like a 15-year-old seeing this for the first time, it would be like, oh my god, like it's
Wow.
that light bulb
Fascism
moment.
is cool. You're gonna look, I mean, no, straight up. You're gonna look at the Panzer cops look baller as shit.
yeah.
Like, would you guys not wear that armor?
Well, I feel like that's the other.
I mean,
it's
Would
always,
you not wear that armor?
I think that's always the good critique of making like an authoritarian group have this aesthetically appealing thing because they did that historically.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Authoritarianism is a philosophy of drip.
Yeah, and that's what it
It's
is.
the only thing that they really have that they can like get people. You know, you get like the young adult, the young male to like join the
Look,
fucking force.
It's the same thing as the Funk edits, like straight up. Like Donald Trump has watched too many Funk edits, and that's why he thought the military parade was cringe. I mean, it was cringe. Like, they didn't give a shit, but he was like, "Where's the Funk edits? Where's like the male masculinity? Where are men kissing each other? I want that."
Like with Star Wars.
Right, yeah, oh yeah,
the
the Stormtroopers.
the Brotherhood of Steel. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot of thing of just making aesthetically cool that you forget about.
But I guess at the end of the day, and with the ending, like I said, where it's sort of a critique of the propaganda, skill issue. Like honestly, skill issue. If like you come from this thinking like, wow, authoritarianism is cool. Hey man, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that could be done to change you because you're kind of like fucking.
It's like Starship Troopers, the book where it's like, what if authoritarianism was cool?
Yes.
Where the movie is, what if fascism was cringe?
Yeah.
See that's something. Another one I would think it takes a lot from. Like I think Starship Troopers, that's one of my favorite movies. But I would say that there's a lot of similarities between those two movies in that sense.
Hey, Scott, speaking of Starship Troopers, we're going to war, boys. We're going back to the sandbox. We're fighting in the mountains this time.
I need to revisit that. I haven't seen that.
What
for
do you guys
years.
would you change about the movie?
I think we'd all say a little bit less Red Riding.
Yeah, less Red Riding Hood. Make Kay actually like a human being.
Right.
Make half these characters like human beings.
Honestly,
More action.
like,
I want more action. Gun down more civilians.
I think this film could actually benefit from like a live action remake. Like if you did it
No,
right.
no. Don't ask that. Do not ask for it.
All right.
The monkey paw just curled in one finger.
I'm just saying, like if you did it right, I think I don't know.
I feel like
there is
it's one of those things that like if an anime is really grounded on realism, you can. But like I feel like what usually fails is when they're not. Like,
Okay.
and I'm talking even like something as simple as like costume aesthetics and everything.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with too many live action anime retellings or whatever. They suck. Like
do.
the fucking Cowboy Bebop one is not good. I mean, okay, it's okay.
I've heard good things about the One Piece one. Though.
I've heard that one's better, but it's also One Piece, so there's the other problem.
Yeah.
The Jinro live action retake, they completely changed the ending. I guess they attempt to fake their suicide together or something. It's a much happier ending. I think it completely does.
Which I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think that really.
I need to see it.
It
I've
needs
not
to
seen
be
it, but
that
that's
dark
just what I've
ending.
It's
heard.
like fucking Blade
Yeah.
Runner where they like try to, at the end they're like driving, in the.
I don't know how she survived. She must have been built different. Anyway, we're going out to the countryside where it's not polluted.
The end.
I'm Harrison Ford, and I got paid. Oh God.
So, what are you guys' overall ratings for this? For me, I would give it. I'm kind of conflicted. I would give it definitely like I would say a 7 out of 10. But I feel like I would if the world was more explored, I would give it an 8, and it wasn't naturally that bashing in the head of the Red Riding Hood.
I mean, I'd say the world is explored, but we've also like there's a lot of content we have missed. We have not seen.
Yeah.
So, but here's the other thing. Like trying to get into that content is a fucking nightmare.
Which-
Not a lot of it has been translated.
Yes, and that's kind of the interesting thing too. I was talking with you about like there's so many of these, and I guess the question is like, how the fuck were they able to do it? Because I don't. This film is an interesting thing where like it's sort of a cult status. It's not like Akira, which is like widely celebrated. This film is like known, but like I guess the thing is, I don't think in terms of like producing, there is a good market for this. This is a very niche thing that like a very limited. So like, how the fuck
you know
did they
what's
have
funny? You know
funds
how I
for the
got
other
into it?
ones?
Like I'm joking about the Fink edits, but that's kind of how I got into. I found this film back in college. The '80s guys on YouTube, check them out. Great AMV edits with synthwave. There's a Carpenter Brut mobster roller edit with this film. That's how I discovered this film. I'm like, dude, this looks awesome. Then I watched it like, wow, this was fucking boring, except for the action scenes. This is really good. But now as a little more educated, hopefully a little less dumb. Unlikely though. There's a lot of like technical elements of this movie I really do appreciate. I really like.
So what would you give it out of 10?
I don't. Like I said, there's a lot for this movie to chew on. There's a lot to like.
Yeah.
But I also don't like the film. I like
Yeah.
it, but I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Ignoring like the American way of rating things, where 7's standard, I'd give this a 5.
No,
but as in a sense, like it's good, but only 50-50.
You got to give it the Japanese, like the S, the A,
Oh shit. Okay, then I mean, listen, it's not S plus. I mean, this is
Yeah.
S plus animation. This is S plus
Yeah.
action.
It had the potential of becoming S plus, but for me,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like B.
Yeah, this is a B minus for me.
Yeah.
I'd
I
probably
like
give
in
it
the
a
last
C.
episode we did it like
Yeah.
numbers, but now we're doing letters.
Yes, I would say something between like a C plus. That would be where I'd.
Yeah,
C
yeah.
plus, like very high C.
I want to give it an yes. Like
I want to. I
I
want to give it
yeah.
an A at least,
Yeah.
but it just the characters.
What makes you intrigued about this world?
Well-
That's what it is. It makes you definitely want to know more.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you, if you want a good Little Red Riding Hood movie that's animated,
Don't watch this.
Hoodwinked.
Yes, Hoodwinked. Let's go. On the next episode, we are doing Hoodwinked.
Yeah.
the similarities between Jinro and Hoodwinked. The bunny is
The
authoritarian.
Axeman kicks in the door with his MG42.
Dinamite must be Italian.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have any plugs, put them out right now.
Oh, yeah. Recently just shot a short film with Giovanni as our lead actor. Nutcase Films on YouTube and TikTok. _Nutcase01 on Instagram. Keep an eye out.
And Gorilla Underground Productions on Instagram. We do films, but also we do armory stuff. Not about obviously an action film or whatever. Me and Nick, we're both armorers. If you are interested, check out our website. Give us a contact in some way. We rent out. We do armory services. We have a whole bunch of cool shit. You want to have a cool movie like fucking this
If
one?
you
Some
like
cool-
guns, come to me.
You want some cool action scenes? Then give us a call.
I don't have really much to plug it. Hey, if you see me on the street, please give me money. Or if you need AK work, reach out to Michael. You will not find me. I promise.
Do you have a GoFundMe?
No, just hand me money. I do not want to claim it on my tax forms.
They're tips. They're tips. No tax on tips.
There'll be no taxes on tips. Believe me. If you hand money to Nick on the streets, it will not be taxed.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.
That's it.
Bye, all.
All right. All right.